Congratulations, students. This presentation will help you understand, or it will explain to you how to write the example essay. And you may stop this presentation at any time. Before you read this entire presentation, this is what I would need for you to do right now. Make sure that you have a pen or pencil so that you can take notes. Make sure that you have printed the example essay assignment and that you're looking at it right now. Don't start working on the assignment if you don't understand it. Ask the teacher for guidance. Make sure that you have read the example essay chapter of your textbook. And it's okay if it takes a few days to read this entire presentation. A word about reading, writing connections. It's a fact that people who read a lot tend to be better writers. Why? Because they have content in their heads. They have enough content knowledge in their heads and ideas in their heads, so they just tend to be better writers. So if you want to be a better writer, start reading more. About academic writing. Um, guys, the writing that we're doing in this class is academic writing. It's very formal. It's useful in the workplace, okay? Definitely in the workplace. And academic writing requires some structure and organization. Okay, you have to have a write a 5 paragraph essay with a thesis. You have to adhere to the rules of grammar, and you have to you can be creative when it comes to developing your ideas, but overall academic writing is very formal. Why should you care about academic writing? Why is it important? Because at some point in your life you will have to write a serious business letter, okay? Or you will have to handle a dispute, or you will have to contact your instructor about um, a grade issue. So it's very important that you learn how to write in a formal way, and this class will teach you how to write that way. Why should you care? It's just a fact that people who tend to have basic writing skills, they tend to get better jobs, okay? Because writing is all about communication. So those people tend to get better jobs. Next, you will have to format your essay in MLA style. What do we mean by that? Double space, indent the first line of each paragraph. Use 12-point font. So read the rules, your MLA rules in the MLA section of your textbook, and you will see the MLA rules. Do not cite sources in this essay. Again, do not cite sources in this essay. This is not a research paper, so don't cite sources and don't add a works cited page. Don't forget to view the model essay so that you can gauge if you're going in the right direction. And all papers that you write, you'll need to go through the writing process. That means that there are certain steps you need to take, okay? You need to brainstorm. What does that mean? That means just getting your ideas out, okay, on paper. Then you will have to use your common knowledge. If necessary, you may have to research. What does that mean? That means you may have to look at a book or read a book or read some articles to build your content knowledge. Then start drafting. That means put your ideas on paper or in paper form in some like essay format. And then start revising. That means tweaking your ideas. And then start editing, looking for grammar mistakes, and then proofread. And that means that making sure that you don't have any grammar mistakes and that everything's concise. So, what is an example essay? An example essay is a well-developed essay. It's an essay with a lot of examples. It's considered the foundation essay because every essay you write will have examples. A basic college essay is composed of 5 paragraphs. You have your introduction with your thesis. You have 3 body paragraphs and you have a conclusion. All college essays are written in third person point of view. No you, no I. Everything is written in the present tense. Also, no text message language. Okay. What do I mean by third person point of view? It just means third person point of view means that you're writing more in a collective way. It's more of a distant writing style. It's a little bit more formal. Instead of saying I am busy right here, I am busy, you change that I into saying something like some people are busy. Okay. So you turn the I into something more collective, like people are busy, or some students are busy. Okay. And think of it like this: you are included in this group. Okay. So students may ask, well, can I write from my viewpoint? Yes, you're writing from your viewpoint. You're just writing from a third person point of view. Now, another example, I love studying. Instead of saying I love studying, you can say something like students love studying. Okay. Make it more collective. And what does that mean? That means that you're included in this group. Okay. So all of these opinions, these are all of your opinions, and it's written from your point of view. Brainstorming. This is really important. Before you start writing your paper, you want to brainstorm. What does that mean? It just means you want to discuss your topic and take notes. You can talk to another student, friends, but let's look at this practice topic, and we'll use this topic for this presentation. Why do people grow gardens? The first thing you want to do is you want to make sure you talk to your classmates or friend or anybody to help you get your ideas out. Okay. During class discussions, take notes. Feel free to use strategies to help get your ideas on paper, like the KWL strategy. This idea, you get a sheet of paper, draw 3 columns. K means what do you know about this topic? Okay, so write down what you know. W means what do you want to learn about this topic? And then L means what have you learned about this topic? And once you do that, that'll give you a really pretty thorough understanding of your topic. Uh, all papers that you write in this class, you will use your common knowledge. What is common knowledge? It's knowledge that you already know. It's just common knowledge. It's knowledge if you go on the internet and you see millions of pages of something, that means that's a common knowledge. Okay. Like for instance, common knowledge is, the first president of the United States was George Washington. It's just common knowledge. Knowledge that is verifiable. But sometimes your common knowledge about a topic may not be enough. It may be not as still substantial enough to write an entire paper. Therefore, you will need to see what other people are saying about the topic, or reading a book or an article, so that you can build your content knowledge so you can write this paper. All right. Think about this scenario. You turn on the internet or the radio and you hear a program about gardening. The gardener says that, the benefits of a garden is you can save money, you can exercise is a good way to exercise, it helps the ecology, it helps you eat healthier. So you want to extract as many examples as you can from the topic and think about your topic this way. Okay. Is the topic going in a negative or positive direction? Because that's going to be important, because that's going to kind of give you an idea of what your examples need to be like. Okay. What are they going to be like? Are they going to be all negative or positive? And think about this. Why do people grow gardens? In other words, how do people benefit from gardening? Think about that. How will it enhance a person's life? And go visit a garden and see what people are doing, or imagine yourself in a garden. That's very important. So, for example, if you don't have a garden and you've never been in a garden, what do you do? This is what you need to do. Go to YouTube and see what people are doing in gardens. See what they are doing. See what people are doing in a garden, or go visit a garden and see what's happening in a garden. That is so important. You'll see that people are pulling weeds, they're sweating, they're exercising, they're building muscle. Also, um, think about this, gardening helps save money. So people will plant vegetables, and one or two seeds can yield like a lot of vegetables or food. So you don't have to go to the grocery store every single week and buy food because your garden will yield so much food for you. It'll produce for you. Next, guys, you want to go through the drafting stage. And the drafting stage involves unpacking your ideas, your everything that you've brainstormed. You want to put all of these ideas in some kind of paragraph form, and you want to create your thesis. Okay, so your introduction is usually an overview. All essays have to have an introduction. It's an overview. So usually an introduction, it starts out very broad. The first sentence is broad and catchy. And then it goes down until you get to the thesis. Remember, your introduction is not that long. It's about 5 sentences long, 5 or 6 sentences long. It's not no longer than that. And the last sentence of your introduction is your thesis. So your thesis is very important because in many ways it summarizes your entire essay. So when I look at your thesis, I am looking at a summary of your essay. That's why the thesis statement is so important. What are the qualities of a good thesis statement? A good thesis statement usually has 3 clear points. Sometimes it has either 2 clear points or 3 really clear points. A good thesis statement focuses on one main idea. And a good thesis statement has something worthwhile to say. So if you look at this thesis, people listen to the radio to win money, to learn about current events, and to listen to new music. So what you have to do when you write your thesis, you have to ask yourself, okay? In this example, you have to say, when people listen to the radio, can they win money? Okay? Think about it. When you listen to the radio, do people win money? Yes. Sometimes radio stations have contests. If you're the fifth caller, you can win a $5,000 if you can get this answer this question. So yes, you can win money. When people listen to the radio, can they learn about current events? Yes, the radio usually focuses on current event. It has usually a news hour, or it gives pieces of news throughout the broadcast. And then lastly, when people listen to the radio, can they listen to new music? And the question is, and the answer is yes. Radios play music. So if you can answer yes to all 3 of those points, that's a good thesis statement. But this is the one thing you have to think about. This is the ultimate uh, test to make sure that your thesis is correct or is adequate. You have to be able to write one paragraph on each one of these thesis points. You have to be able to at least write one well-developed paragraph for each one of these thesis points. Okay. There are 3 ways to structure a thesis. Most students will just list their points. People listen to the radio to win money. That's your first point. To learn about current events. That's your second point. And to listen to new music. That's your third point. Sometimes students will use a colon. People listen to the radio for these reasons, and then they list their points, their thesis points after the colon. What is an inadequate thesis statement? Do not make an announcement. Do not say, I'm going to tell you about my topic, or this topic will, you know, this essay will explain to you. No, just write your statement. Do not express your thesis in the form of a question. Do not double up on your thesis point. Do not try to cram 4 or 5 thesis points into your thesis. You only need 2 or 3 thesis points. Okay. Avoid thesis statements that are too broad. You don't want to write a broad thesis. Like here, radios are a very important invention. That's very broad. You would be writing, the issue with broad statements is that you don't have a handle on them. Okay? There's no handle on them. There's nothing specific you can focus on. So you start writing about every single thing and there's no focus. So broad thesis statements usually end up when you write broad thesis statements, usually your essay is going to be have no absolutely no focus. So you want your thesis statements to be precise. You want to avoid logical fallacies. And basically, a logical fallacy is, you want to have your strong opinions, but you don't want to have opinions that are just off the wall, okay? Or that are offensive because people won't take you seriously. And then working thesis statements need to be revised. So this is a working thesis statement. People listen to the radio for several reasons. You have to put your points. People listen to the radio for several reasons, such as blank, blank, and blank. Okay. Right here are some practice exercises. Feel free to complete the practice exercises. Drafting, more about drafting. After you write your thesis, start working on your body paragraphs. Okay. And just to recap for this presentation, our thesis is people grow gardens to save money, to eat healthier, and to build an exercise routine. Remember, if you don't have any common knowledge about your topic, you need to, like in this case, you need to go to a garden, see what people are doing, or go to YouTube and see what people are doing. Always do that with any topic. If you want to learn more about any topic and you need some ideas, you have to either physically go to the place or go to YouTube and see what people are saying and listen to this, form your ideas based on what you see. Do not write statements. A lot of papers are full of statements. You don't want an essay full of statements. Okay? This is a statement. Gardens help people save money. That's a statement. Okay? If you want to go beyond statements and write examples, you have to put the word because after each statement so that it'll prompt you to expand your ideas. So people grow gardens. Gardens help people save money because, and you have to have the reasons. Okay? Okay, there are several ways to develop your ideals. I'll show you two ways, but there are several ways. The first way to develop your ideas when you write papers, okay, to expand on your ideas, is you write a short scenario, a short but thorough scenario like this one. So first, people grow gardens to save money. Okay, that's my first thesis point. That means this entire paragraph has to focus on saving money. So the way you can develop it is create a very short but thorough scenario. So, start out with a problem. For example, at Kroger grocery store, cucumbers are very expensive. They cost $1 or $2 each. Okay, that's my problem. Well, I want to solve this. A packet of seeds is cheap and costs 50 cents. In a few months, a few seeds can yield 15 to 20 or more cucumbers. I'm solving my problem, right? Because now I have all of these cucumbers. I can store them in a refrigerator for months and they can be pickled, diced, put in salads, or even put in drinks. So I can do so much with these cucumbers. And then the next time the consumer goes to the store, okay, the person doesn't have to spend money on cucumbers, right? Because that person has all of these cucumbers, and they can save. The person can save $30 a month or more, and that extra money can be put in the bank for other expenses. And then after I develop my paper, okay, at the end I have a concluding sentence. Overall, people grow money. Grow gardens because their gardens can help them save money. Okay, that's my concluding uh, sentence. And of course, all of these examples, you can rewrite this several times. But the gist of this paragraph is people grow gardens to save money. Now, a second way you can develop your paper is just to add a real life example. What do I mean by real life example? A real life example means something that really happens in society, something that's real, something that's verifiable. Okay. So here, if you look at this example, first people grow gardens to save money. For example, at Radium Elementary School in Dougherty County, Georgia, the school has a garden because the cost of cucumbers and other vegetables has doubled over the years. So this is a scenario from an actual school. Okay, a scenario from an actual school. An actual school is probably doing this. Okay, That's what we mean by real life example. You can add it and then, of course, use that real life example to develop your paragraph. And here, now one cucumber costs $3. The school task is students to pick the cucumbers, and the staff refrigerate the cucumbers so that it lasts. And they use the cucumbers for student lunches, and the school saves over $200 a month, and extra money will be used to eventually pay for students to take a trip to the zoo. And then you have your concluding sentence. Overall, people grow gardens because garden can help save money. Okay, so that's two ways you can develop your ideas: through a short scenario and through a real life examples. Now, having said that, this is very important. It's not enough to just have examples in your paragraph. You have in order to have a completed paragraph, okay, a comprehensive, thorough, connected paragraph, you have to use transition words and phrases to form completed ideas, okay? So you have to use these methods to help you connect your ideas, okay? So as you can see, first, that's my transition word right here. First, transition word. Then you have your topic sentence, okay? Your topic sentence help you stay on topic. People grow gardens to save money. Then everything in yellow, that's a springboard, okay? To find the answer to the problem. Here's a problem, okay? That's going to act as a springboard. And then everything in gray, it focuses on how cheap seeds are. And basically, this is important because it's helping you solve the problem. You have cheap seeds, you grow them, you end up having a whole bunch of cucumbers. You don't have to pay money to go to the store and pay for cucumbers. And then everything in turquoise basically restates everything that the gray scenario states. Okay, consumers can save so much money. So that's the whole point. And notice how there are specific examples like $1 to $2 there, 50 cents. Um, they can save through $30. This is all important when it comes to developing your ideas. And you want to make sure you add your transition words throughout your paragraph for the connectivity. Here's another extended example. This is a different example than our other example. This is a completely different example. And the thesis statement here is what can be done to reduce home burglaries. And the thesis is people can reduce home burglaries by making the outside of their house look undesirable, install a home security system, and set up a neighborhood watch. And if you look at this scenario, notice here it says making the outside look dirty will deter burglars. That is what we call a statement, because what does it mean by making the outside of your house look dirty? What does that mean? You see, what does that mean? That can mean anything. But if you look at this example, you'll notice that this example goes beyond statements, and it explains to you what does dirty mean. It expands it. For example, one can make a house look undesirable by letting the weeds grow out of control, letting the windows collect dirt, leaving trash or fake rubber rodents about the yard, or putting beware of dog sign in the fence. These are all specific examples of it means to what is meant by being dirty. Okay, you're expanding, you're giving a visual. So that's really important. And of course, um, with drafting, make sure you have a conclusion, write your conclusion. And for your conclusion, guys, you can just say in conclusion. There's nothing wrong with that. Just simply say in conclusion and then wrap up your entire essay. Just summarize the main gist of your essay again in your conclusion. After you've written your paper, you're not done yet. You have to revise and edit and proofread your paper. If you really want to earn a good grade, learn how to revise. Revise means that you re-see everything. You put your paper down for a day or two, pick it back up, and look at everything and see what you can do better? Like, can you rewrite a sentence? Can you, you know, what can you do better? So go through the steps, okay? Go through the steps again of the writing process. First, brainstorm. Again, come up before you write your paper, sit down and actually brainstorm, come up with your ideas. Then draft your ideas, okay? Get everything down on paper. Then revise, re-see everything again. Re-see everything again. That means rearrange sentences, add transition words, take words out. Just make your entire essay concise. Edit your paper, go to the tutor and help the tutor, ask your tutor to help you edit, and then just proofread your paper. Okay, that's very important. Proofread your paper. Um, do not plagiarize. Plagiarism is when you use AI or write another person's ideas word for word without giving the person credit. When in doubt, ask a teacher. So do not write, if you go online or if you get AI to write your entire paper, that's plagiarism. If you go online and you just write your paper word for word, that's plagiarism. You do not want to do that because your grade will suffer. And that concludes this presentation. Students, thank you so much for listening.